that expeditiously. And when it comes to Trent, and he is an enemy forever. I have said this because
Why?
he got Zubamendi. Oh, he is an enemy forever.
Zubamendi. I understand your beef with Zubamendi. Trent.
No, Trent is not an enemy forever. The enemy forever is Fenway Sports Group. Look, over this last 24 hours, there has been a split in my fan base. Some people blame Trent, some people blame Fenway Sports Group, and I'm with the latter. I am so sick and tired of FSG. I honestly would take like Igal as the Liverpool owner of the Fenway Sports Group. I've had enough of these bastards, bro. Listen, 2 days ago there was an article, Davo Cop. Trent Alexander-Arnold is going to meet with the representatives at Liverpool to talk about his future, the ambition of the team, the direction. We have to look at the facts here, not my or your opinion. Of course, important. We need to talk about opinions, but I'm saying facts of this matter. The facts is he was offered to be the highest paid Englishman in the English Premier League. He's getting less money at Real Madrid. So all this going for money shit is now out the way directly. Because if I'm telling you in the other club he's going to get less money and you're about to be the highest paid Englishman in the English Premier League, you cannot tell me this is a move for money. So let's push that to the side immediately. I think this is a move for ambition. I think this is a move for willingness to win. Because yes, I did get it wrong about Liverpool this season. So did Northside. So did 99.999% of the world. If I went on every single channel in August and I said, guys, City are going to be fighting for top 4 and they're going to be absolutely ass this season, probably even Northside himself, to be fair, probably most people will go like, look, more than likely it's going to be Arsenal that wins the league. That's what most people would have said if I told them City are going to go to the shits this season. So we end up winning the league this year. Given the track record of this ownership, can you, even as an Arsenal fan from the outside looking in, can you guarantee me that FSG will do their absolute best that we retain it next season? And the answer to that question is no. So why should a guy trust his prime in the hands of Fenway Sports Group when he can trust his prime in the hands of Florentino Perez, who after winning a league title and the Champions League goes and signs Kylian Mbappe? If I, after winning the Champions League, said, let's sign Mbappe, they would tell me, you're a fake fan, you're a glory hunter. Habib, I'm 29. I've seen one league title. What glory hunter? Anyone my age who glory hunted, you can ask Northside. He's in my age group. The glory hunters in our age group, Man United, Chelsea. Those are the glory hunters. Everyone just cut the bullshit here. There is no glory to hunt. If you supported Liverpool in my age group, you are a sadness hunter. That's you.
That's true.
Because you hunted sadness. Yani in my whole life, all I said in the playgrounds to the bum Man United fans in my class was, come back when you have 5 Champions Leagues. That's all. It's the same sentence I kept saying because I had nothing else to come back with. It was Gerrard and it was Champions League. That's the only 2 responses I had.
And you had more league titles at that time, depending on
Yeah. And but then when they got number 19, long day, lad. They got number 19 and then they got number 20.
Sam, eras come to an end because I have no love for Man United. Fuck Man United.
I hate There's one thing that Man United did that till this day haunts me forever. It kills my soul. I was a teenager growing up, and when they won their 19th league title, they wrote champions, but instead of I-N-O, they put the number 19. Oh my god, my head was gone. I couldn't take it. I was like, you caught us up in league titles, and I just cannot do this. So we went on a tangent there, but the point is, this club has no ambition. You get me? And I would trust my future and my prime in the hands of Florentino Perez. So, yeah.
But just to play devil's advocate, like you do with me with my takes on Arsenal, FSG.
Yes.
At the same time, I agree with you that in January they risked your league title by not strengthening the squad that they needed to. I understand that they brought in Slot. A lot of people were expecting a big rebuild and time to build up the squad. But in January, Slot showed enough that he should be backed, that he should be getting players in case of injuries. Robbo, for me, needed an upgrade on that. Slobbo, yes, he works within the system, but he's a limited player. Darwin Núñez, not good enough. Jota, you had injuries. You didn't really have a rotation for McAllister and players like that, but they chose not to. Ultimately, my club not being ambitious enough, you're going to get over the line, you're going to win the league. You guys are already champions. It's not even really a debate. So in that sense, they risked it. But at the same time, It's the same ownership that bought in Arne Slot, that's won you the league when nobody expected it. It's the same ownership that bought in Gravenberch that last season you were questioning. The same ownership that got the right sporting director that bought in players. Gravenberch has got better. McAllister's got, well, he's already a baller anyway, but he's got even better. You've got a tune out of Gakpo. You've got a tune out of Diaz. You've got a tune out of Darwin Núñez, even with his limitations. You've got a tune out of Slobo, even with his limitations. When your goalkeeper was injured, Callagher did excellent to the point where people forgot that Alisson was injured for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the thing with your ownership. Is it perfect? No. Is it effective? It's hard to say that they're not effective because they got players in and they got the right manager in. The thing is with FSG, they don't show the ambition all the time in the transfer window, but they hire the right people to make it all work and to still be a successful tenure. Klopp, successful tenure. Get rid of that. Most people think you're going to have a rebuild. Slot comes in, you win the league. Yeah? And this is the thing with your ownership. I agree that you should be angry about the fact that they're risking it. Because a lot of times they're like, oh, we can do with what we've got. We get Chiesa and we'll risk it. I do think there's a limitation to that. But I also do think they deserve praise for identifying the right people. On the contrary, at my club, we spend the money. We break transfer record getting Declan Rice, but we don't hire the right people. Edu, inexperience, doesn't get us anywhere. Arteta comes in, overhauls the squad. We've got Zinchenko on 150k. We've got Odegaard on 240. We've got Jesus on 240. We've got Havertz on 260. This is the way that my club is run. We bring Calafiori that can't defend, and he's already on 110, 120,000. This is the difference between your ownership and my ownership. Now, obviously, from my perspective, your ownership is levels beyond mine because you guys, at least when you spend money on quality. Now, where I agree with you is, since it's a self-sustaining model, when is it become the norm for Liverpool to allow players to run down their contracts and live on a free? Because your whole model is based on we buy with a small package in terms of not a big price tag, and then we sell for big, and then we use them funds to reinvest. You did it with Coutinho. Why is it that you've left yourself in a situation where 3 of your best players, world-class players, could potentially all leave on a free if you don't sort it out? I think that is where I completely agree with you. And the lack of investment in January is completely unacceptable from the ownership. Just because,
and that's the thing. Let me just say this about FSG. Look, I understand where you're coming from, but I would rather have the Kroenkes own Liverpool than Fenway Sports Group, because the Kroenkes' problem is not ambition. The Kroenkes' problem, as you said, they're giving the keys to the wrong people. Now, the solution to that is easy. You can change a sporting director. You can change the manager. Meaning, you got Berta, good sporting director. Tomorrow, let's say you wake up, you get your dream, which is Arteta sacked and Inzaghi hired. Your problem is now solved. My problem is not solved with a change of manager and change of sporting director, because the problem is the owners don't want to spend money. That is a bigger issue than actually people running the club, because you could always change that. I mean, even with Man United, obviously it's taking them a long time, but they sacked Ed Woodward. Me and you, how many times have we heard rants about Ed Woodward and, oh my God, they get Ed, he's a banker and all. How many times have we heard this? 500 million times. But you could change those people. It's easy to get rid of Edu and bring Berta in, but it's not easy to get FSG to spend money. It's more difficult. You could sack Arteta, you could sack your sporting director, but you can never have an ownership group that suddenly wakes up and goes like, I want to invest money, man. That just never changes. And when it comes to this January transfer window, there was an opportunity, and I spoke about this on my channel. There was an opportunity like no other. We are favorites to win the Premier League. I think that was probably in the bank for a long time. So we have an opportunity to win the Premier League, and we're in 3 competitions. Now, just like you have brown envelopes and Arsenal PR, I actually think you're doing what Liverpool have done for the last 5-6 years. You're literally the new Liverpool when it comes to PR and the media. David Ornstein, in the middle of the summer, last summer, in the middle of him getting 500 calls per day, had time to write an article about Richard Hughes' greatness, who's our new sporting director.
Okay.
He had time in the middle of a transfer window to write how great Richard Hughes is, how great Michael Edwards is. We signed Federico Chiesa, we fucked up the Zubimendi transfer, and we have 3 players running off from their contracts. Like literally, it's what, 27th March? In 2 months from now, I could lose potentially one of the greatest forwards in Premier League history and one of the greatest centre backs in Premier League history. We could lose them both. That is not a well-run club. That is a club that's leaving everything to the last second. And when it comes to FSG, in January there was an opportunity. What's the opportunity? You already 90% have wrapped up the Premier League. You, other than Real Madrid, let's be fair here, would have probably beaten 90% of the teams had you invested in January. Now, we were told as Liverpool fans, and Liverpool fans in the chat that are listening will know what I'm about to say. We were told that Liverpool are going to be making opportunistic signings. There is no bigger opportunistic signing than Kvaratskhelia. 50 million pounds. I will say this again to the people listening. 50 million pounds to get one of the best wingers in world football. And now it seems like Jota's leaving in the summer, Nunes is leaving in the summer, and Diaz is leaving in the summer. The smart thing would have been get Kvaratskhelia in now. You saw the creativity problem we had against Newcastle. Ryan Cherki was available for 20 million pounds. And let's be honest, in terms of Liverpool, we're talking 20 million, 50 million is peanuts. Let's all be serious here. Like, we're not talking about 150 million, go sign Valverde and Camavinga. I'm not saying that. I'm saying Cherki 20 million, Kvaratskhelia 50 million. Obvious options that we saw with our very own eyes. You're telling me in that PSG game, had I had Salah and whoever and Kvaratskhelia, we don't go through? We go through. I could have been still in the Champions League. I could have been facing Aston Villa on the way to a Champions League semi-final. This is reality. This is the reality of the matter. I will never doubt Real Madrid in the Champions League, but we beat them already this season. We beat them once. So that would give us confidence to go further on and beat them again. And the second game would have been at Anfield, which is a good thing for us. So these are the things. I'll tell you what FSG is. FSG will get you to the top of the mountain. But FSG will not keep you at the top of the mountain. And that's the problem that I have. And I'll tell you right now, even as someone, and you might disagree with me, but I promise you, if you experience this, you'll understand what I'm saying. I promise you, you will understand it one day. When you get to the top of the mountain and you win, and you get pushed off it, it feels way worse than you're still climbing. Because even for you right now, your light at the end of the tunnel is sack Arteta, buy 2-3 good players, and we can win the league. That's the light at the end of the tunnel for Northside. How do we win the league next season? For me, my issue is not getting to the top of the mountain. My issue is I'm going to get pushed off of it. Just like I got pushed off of it last season. You speak to top gunners all the time. What do they tell you? Oh, Slot inherited a squad with all-timers. Okay, Habibi, we had these all-timers for the last 4 years. Why haven't we won a league title in 4 years? Why? We were on the verge of winning a quadruple, and we ended up signing Nunes, Carvalho, and I don't know, and I forgot even the third player who we signed. Some random Calvin Ramsey. Do you even know who that is? No, you don't. Fabio Carvalho doesn't even start for Brentford. We were on the cusp of winning a quadruple, and that's what we did that summer. We ended up finishing 5th. A year later, we sold 7 midfielders, bought 3 midfielders. And in the January, when me and you were doing content together, and I said that Liverpool are going to fall off if we don't buy a forward, lo and behold, we don't buy a forward, Liverpool fall off. People think that this is new. This is not new. By the way, Salah last season had the top goals and top assists in December. Then he went to AFCON and came back with an injury. And he came back against Manchester City, where we started. If you open a new tab as I'm speaking right now and just Google Liverpool 1, Manchester City 1, look at the team we started against Manchester City. They had